It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is the Action Sports JAGS Postgame Show, sponsored by Anidjar Levine, Accident Attorneys.
You know, in the immortal words of Denny Green, the late, great Denny Green, they are who we thought they are.
Yeah, we kind of thought that could have been the case Thursday night, right, against the Dolphins, and it certainly now is the case. That was a fluky win.
Yeah.
The Jags over the Indianapolis Colts.
It was the first game. Now people have tape on them. They're figuring them out. Hi, everybody. Hicken and Martineau, post-game show. You watched it. We watched it.
Well, they made two plays that this defense isn't going to make either. Phillip Rivers gave them 2 interceptions.
That's a good point. That's
the difference.
And then on top of all that, and we'll break down this game because a lot of things went on that I didn't like, but what do I know? There's a ton of injuries going forward now.
Yeah.
That was finally going to hit, and the injury bug just hit the Jags on this Sunday in Cincinnati. Let's start from the beginning. Look, the Jags offense was moving the ball. And you know what bugged me, I think, the most? My biggest criticism of the offense, you're down 23-14, middle of the third quarter. We threw the ball, the Jags, 6 straight times.
Yeah.
Your best player, Chark, is really good. But James Robinson hasn't been stopped all day.
Yeah.
Run the ball, bro. Why did they? Gruden said, I got away from the run a week ago. We did it again.
Well, they ran on that. What you're talking about is they ran the ball for 40 yards. They got a holding, which is a huge play.
Yes.
Because that changes the whole momentum.
Yes.
And then they threw it 3 times on 1st and 15, 2nd and 15, 3rd and 15.
Yes.
And in that sequence, by the way, which
but then they got it back and they threw it 3 more times.
Did. And the second time they got it back, Minshew misses a guy wide open, O'Shaughnessy on first down.
Yeah.
And then that sets the things in. So Minshew isn't making plays when he needs to.
Right.
Not enough of them.
Right.
And then you get away from the run and you don't give it to basically your best player.
Well, we got to see a really good young quarterback, and I'm not taking anything away from Gardner. This is his audition year. He wasn't good enough today. He doesn't have a lot to work with, right? I mean, in terms of what they need, and
I think Mitchell would be better against our defense.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow is now. When do we start on the defense? Because that was deplorable.
It's not an NFL defense. I just tweeted it. It's not. You have some good. Miles Jack's a heck of a player. When he leaves,
forget it.
When C.J. Henderson, who's going to be maybe pretty good, leaves. When Josh Allen's a good player, but he's getting no help and obviously being double teamed and not doing much. Right? He's not doing anything. But neither is anybody else.
They had no sacks.
They have no defense.
No sacks today.
I want to
against a team that had given up. You say they got one?
No, they have a JV defense.
Yeah.
In the NFL.
The Cincinnati Bengals, just so everybody understands.
Oh, they almost didn't get a sack. They took it off the board.
Yeah. The Cincinnati Bengals, just so everybody understands, has given up 14 sacks this season.
8 last week.
8, 3, and 3. So I'll take 2.
I'll tell you what, even more so than the sack stand, it's hit him. They hit him twice.
Yeah.
One because he held the ball
and one should have been a personal foul. Taven Bryan.
Yes, Taven Bryan.
The other one was fine.
Actually, then they hit him 3 times. I forgot about Taven's. But still, they hit him 3 times against the worst offensive line in the game, probably.
Yeah.
Which means the Jags, we knew, had probably the worst defensive line.
Now we know.
And now we know by a landslide.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah. And then guys start getting hurt, and Burrow sits back there. He must have thrown that intermediary 15-yard pass that I've been screaming for the Jags to throw all year a dozen times.
But why are they open and nobody else is open?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because the back end of the defense is hurt and bad.
Yeah,
They miss Wilson is way better than Wingard, and they miss him desperately. Henderson leaves the game. They got Claybrooks in there for even on the run you learn how important corners are on run defense when he was in there a couple times that he just absolutely ran in when he should have stayed out. And
it's just not. It's not an NFL defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. The NFL is built where you get some stops. Right now, the Jags defense and the Cowboys defense is awful.
Yeah,
awful. I mean, bad.
Right.
To the point where you wouldn't. I mean, you just don't play in the NFL like that. See, I think the defenses are at such a disadvantage right now that it almost doesn't matter if you have a good defense anymore. But you got to be able to at least come up with a stop here or there. You have to have some friction.
Yeah.
The Jags have no friction. I mean, look at that last drive.
Yeah.
They went right down the field. They were not even trying to do anything.
And and now we'll get to Marone a little bit. 30-16. It's 2 touchdowns. It's 14 points.
Yeah.
The Jags go down and they score a touchdown. It's 30-22. My jaw dropped when they go out on the field for the 2-point.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Well, and so don't jump down my throat here. I'm just telling you, this is an analytic play because this world of analytics that we live in.
I may tackle you if you agree with it.
But this is an analytic play. The Lions did it. today and were successful at doing it. For some reason, I don't know. I'd love to see the card, right? But it says that if you down 14, you go for two-point conversions because you have 2 chances to do it. And if you steal the first one, you kick the extra point to win. I don't know why it says that.
Take
but
the
I'm just
analytics.
telling you that's why.
Take the analytics and shove them where the sun don't shine. Can we say that on Facebook?
Sure.
Is that what we're on?
Just did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
in so many ways. By the way, if you want to go for the win, kick that and then go for 2 on the last touchdown when you tie it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't matter because my only thought was, well, he knows the defense is so bad that he figures he can't win in overtime. But certainly, Burrow then just ran the ball. They ran the ball right down the field, so it didn't matter. But I was analytics are dumb.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that also adds up for me. There's 2 things about analytics. It doesn't take in the emotion part, the momentum part.
Yes.
Well, now you stall some of the momentum.
Yes.
Now all of a sudden, everybody on that sideline is doing everything we did on Twitter and we did at home watching. And that was, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, nobody does that. It doesn't feel like a football play.
What are the
their whole sideline, Dan, is saying the same thing. So now they're deflated a little bit, and they already stink on the defensive side.
And what are the odds that the Jaguars are going to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion again after that? In other words, they're no good. If you're going to be aggressive and go for wins, Doug, do it at the end of the half when you're sitting there on the yard-and-a-half line and you kick a field goal.
Why not go for 4th and 2 instead of kick a field goal earlier in the game?
Earlier in the game, you got a 4th and 2 on their side of the 50. Go for that.
Because I'll tell you what, the analytics say go for that. 4th and 1 and 4th and 2, they say go for that.
So be aggressive in the first half and then make up for it as you go. But I mean, to me, that made no sense. But that was just.
I got one more thing on that. Okay. Though, because if and maybe they don't care, maybe they shouldn't care, but I think Doug has a good feel of the temperature going on. Why add one more thing to be criticized about? I mean, you're already under the gun here, and you just add more to the.
You just lost to the Bengals, and they're not bad, by the way. The Bengals lost to the Chargers in overtime. They lost 35-30 to the Browns. They tied the Eagles on the road, and now they've beaten the Jaguars. NFL teams don't get better; they get better quarterbacks. Show us the injury list here.
We got
we got Doug Marrone. Let's listen in on Doug Marrone. Let's pick him up and see what he has to tell us.
Hey, Coach, you guys.
Do you want to take it?
Coach, can you hear us?
Okay.
All right. We'll go ahead with Mark Long and then Gene.
Hey, Doug, how do you explain that defensive effort, especially in the second half? Couldn't stop the run, really couldn't do anything right. And then if you can just tell us how you explain why the 2-point conversion there when you're trailing, when you score and you're trailing by 14.
14, yeah, 14. No problem. I think the first time you look at it and you use words like, hey, the effort of the defense. There was a lot of effort. I mean, I'm not going to. That's what I just told the team. There's a lot of effort, but we weren't able to. They come out the second half. I thought we did a nice job in the first half defensively. In the second half, they come out. They had their first 2 drives where. They scored touchdowns. We were man. They double cracked, and he took it right outside, and we didn't have enough speed to get back outside to get him. He split us later on. Twice inside. We just kind of overran it from a second level position, and he made some plays, and we missed some tackles. I mean, we missed a couple tackles though. When he went up there inside. So it really goes back to the execution on that. To be able to do that. And then, we could have gotten the momentum back. And, we had a big play by James and it got called back by a holding penalty. I didn't see the hold, but it was thrown by the back judge. So, that really hurt us because, we couldn't respond to it. And I think that's what you have to do in a game like this. You have to be able to respond to those type of plays and be able to make plays. And, credit to Cincinnati, they made some plays. We had some guys in position and, their guys came up with plays. So, going for 2, you look at it at the time in the game, 6 minutes, it gives you, analytically, it's a better chance of winning the football game. If you go for 2 right there, I think, the way the game was going, if you get it, now he's trying to put pressure on them. It's a little bit different ball game. Now you're going for the win, which is going to be aggressive, so it gives you a better chance to win the football game. That's why we went for 2.
Thanks, Mark. Let's go to Gene and then Hayes and then D-Rock.
Hey, Doug, a follow-up on the 2-pointer. Would you have even considered going for 2 had Josh Lambo been healthy?
Yes, at that point in the game, Gene, because of, again, I go back to, I don't like getting heavy into the analytics, of what we do, but, it gives you a better chance to win the football game, and that's what we're trying to do. With 6 minutes left, they were moving the football and want to go for 2, try to get a stop, and then go ahead and score a touchdown for the win. If not, you miss it, and now you're down by 8. Now you got to get the 2-point conversion to tie the game up.
Yeah. As a follow-up, could you just talk about when he was in the game, the performance of Myles Jack? Not only the interception in the end zone where he blindly, with his back to the ball, reached up and grabbed it, but how much your defense even suffered even worse once he went out of the game.
I mean, anytime you lose, what happens in this league, it's tough to get these other guys a lot of reps, during the course of a week. You're very limited. So they're preparing in a different way that the guys that are on the field playing. I think Myles has been playing at an extremely high level for us. I think you saw that today early on. Obviously, that was an unbelievable play that he made, and, he's been making plays for us the whole time. So, CJ Henderson goes out, and DJ, and then Claybrooks goes in for him, and DJ, Hayden goes out. And then Myles is out. So, you got a chance to look at some tough guys that are really giving great effort, and just, that we're just going to keep coaching up and get these guys ready to go. And, but, obviously, to answer your question, obviously, Myles is a big part of what we do, and he's been playing at a high level.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gene. Let's go to Hayes and then D-Rock.
Yeah, Doug, what's your level of disappointment that you guys haven't been able to build on the momentum from winning in week 1 and now you hit the quarter pull at 1-3?
Yeah, I just think, you go from week to week. I think, you want to be able to do that. We're in, it's just, it's tough. I mean, we've got to be able to make some plays. We've got to be able to coach them, and get guys better so they can win more of the one-on-one situations that we have. It's really on all of us, because I can't ask for more from the players and coaches, because, it's not, like I said, it's not from a lack of effort or lack of trying. It's from a lack of, whether we execute. And, today we were in position sometimes and they just made the plays. And we made some.
Thanks.
Thanks, Hayes. Let's go to D-Rock and then Demetrius.
Doug, this was a team that had given up 14 sacks, I think 31 quarterback hits, and with a couple of exceptions, it didn't seem like you guys got close to them. Is it still a matter of guys just not winning one-on-ones, or is there another issue that we're not seeing?
Yeah, no, I think you're seeing it. I think that, we've got to do a good job. We've got to coach them up better. We've got to get them, technically to go in there, because, obviously, it's a fine line, bringing pressure and being matched up out there. You're trying to change things up. You don't want to give them, everyone a great read. You got to watch your matchups on the outside as the game goes. But I think when you drop back to pass and you look to see, especially in the empty situation, there's going to be 5 guys blocking. Usually going to get 3 over 2, but you're going to have 2 guys singled up. So, we just got to do a better job of coaching those guys and get them in a better position to win.
When you guys lost CJ, does that impact your decision on whether or not you want to bring extra pressure because you're putting Claybrooks back there as opposed to Henderson?
I mean, it's hard and empty. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're an empty. If you bring in pressure, all of a sudden now it's, you look at the skill players. I had a ton of respect for the skill players coming into this game. I think it's difficult. We were going to mix it up on third down at times. We brought pressure, and you saw at the end, and, Burrow gets out of it and runs for the first down. So, it's not a matter of, hey, are you bringing pressure? You're not, we're doing it, but we're not getting any results out of it. So, still got to win the one-on-one stuff, and trying to rely on trying to get someone free is a little bit. It's tough in this league.
Thanks, D-Rock. All right, let's go to Demetrius and then Jamal.
Hey, Coach, would you have liked to see Gardner maybe save some time there at the end, that last drive? You probably had a chance to spike it with around 40 seconds left and just kick the field goal then.
I think where I would have liked to get the spike. The spike, you usually want to use the spike and kick the field goal with 30 seconds, and, I wanted to take a shot. It's hard because it's easy for us to stand on silent and say, hey, get it in the end zone, throw it in the end zone. We got it down to Cole, and in that situation, looking back, I probably, should have told Jay to tell him to spike it there, and that would have been, put us in a better position. Because, with the field goal and then the onside kick, thinking that you have a chance to get it, you want to do that about with 30 seconds, and we were too low on that. So I thought at that time I could have done a better job there, but I made a decision to go for it there because that was the only chance we had, really, of a kick the field goal, onside kick, and a Hail Mary. If you go for a touchdown, you get the onside kick, and I don't know if you're going to have enough time.
Yeah, and do you have an injury update on DJ, CJ, Miles, and Cam Robinson?
I can tell you where they are. Hold on, I got it on a piece of paper.
Appreciate it.
We're in the middle of CJ Henderson with a shoulder, Miles Jack with an ankle, DJ Hayden with a hamstring, Cam Robinson with a knee, and LaVisca with a hamstring. That's what I have.
Thank you.
I won't know. I won't know until later.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Demetrius. All right, let's wrap with two more, Jamal, and then we'll finish with Mia.
Hey, Coach, we talked a lot about you wanting to get the team off to a faster start this week. You got off to that fast start, but then just couldn't finish the game.
Hold on 1 second. Now,
Can you ask again? We couldn't hear that.
you're okay. I got someone walking in and out of this door. It's actually pissing me off.
Oh, it's all good.
That's rude now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll answer the question. Go ahead.
All right. We talked a lot about you wanting to get the team off to a faster start this week. You guys got off to that quick start, but just couldn't sustain throughout the game. Are there any further adjustments you want to make to try and, I guess, get the team to put together 4 full quarters?
Yeah, I mean, that's our goal. I mean, that's what we're looking to do. I mean, we wound up taking the football, in a game, and we go there and we throw an interception, an interception of, the guy just pops the ball up in the air and we throw an interception. The defense comes on and does a good start. So, I think, in the second half we come out and we don't really start fast, and that's where we wanted to do a good job. I think the whole goal is to go ahead for, 4 quarters and really do a good job and trying to put a full game together. I think that's what our goal is.
That's the goal, and didn't quite work out.
Doug Marrone it should be as annoyed at his defense and some of his football team as he is about somebody walking into the press conference. I almost would like to see Doug a little more ticked off. I mean, you can't survive in the NFL like this. This is a must-win year for them, I think. Some people don't believe that. I do. And you can't look like that. This might be an unfixable problem. That's the bad part. You're 4 games in, you have 12 left, and I think their defense is an unfixable problem.
I would have coached them up this week in this respect. We got it. This is our Super Bowl. We got to win this game. Because nobody thinks the Jags are going to the playoffs. No. You know what? But if you keep hope alive.
Yeah.
You win today, you're 2-2. You're going to Houston, who hasn't won a game yet. That's another week you're buying time. You're competing. To lose that way to the Bengals and the defense and now all the injuries and who knows who's going to be out and who's going to be back, it does not look good now. And again, one of the things we had said, and when Dave Caldwell himself asked us to wait and judge. Yeah. Well, this is the quarter pole, Brent.
Yeah.
This is 4 games.
And it doesn't look good,
They're bad.
Well, here's the thing. I want to be consistent with my praise and criticism. And I praised Doug Marrone early on the first 2 games about at least coming through the stuff that they wanted to be. Stop the run.
Right.
They wanted to play cleaner football.
Right.
Their offensive line was going to be better.
Yes.
Right? They wanted to be a resilient bunch. They showed that in the first 2 weeks. Well, now, if you take that, they're not playing clean football. Some huge penalties.
They're not stopping the run.
They didn't stop the run 150 yards, and they went through it. Well, it was more than that, I think, for Mixon, actually, at the end of the day. Their offensive line, it's not an eyesore, let's just say that, but it's not unbelievable either. And
down 2 starters halfway through the game, though, when Cam went down, of course, no Linder.
True. So I'll give the offensive line a pass, but then the other part is resiliency. They had 10 days to get ready for this. Like you said, this should have been there. This was, to my opinion, this was such a pivotal game.
Referendum game if they lose is kind of what I thought.
DJ Chark had a big game, scored a couple touchdowns. Let's listen to the Jags wide receiver.
And then we'll go to Jamal.
Hey, DJ. No, Coach and you guys elect to take the ball first this game. Did you feel like, aside from obviously the obvious interception, did you feel like you guys got off to a strong start? Or if you didn't, why do you think you guys maybe struggled a little bit?
I wouldn't necessarily say a strong start because I feel like we can be better. I think we didn't do bad at all. We moved the ball up and down the field. We had to capitalize on some of the plays, but with this offense, I feel like we have the ability to move the ball up and down the field, whether it's the first drive or last drive. We just got to figure out how to do it more consistently and do it every time.
Thanks, Mia. We'll go to Jamal, and then we'll go to John Shipley.
Hey, DJ, you guys scored early in the first quarter and then kind of stalled out a little bit after that. Took a while before you guys found the end zone again. Did the Bengals change the way they were playing you guys? Was there something different on the field, or were you guys just not executing?
Both. They did adjust the coverage a little bit. They went more too high safety than they usually play, at least what we studied on film. And it's also us not just completing the plays, passes, or moving the ball. Had a big run, I don't know at what point in the game, but he came back. That would have helped us a lot. That would have got the offensive line even more into it. Just the small things that we have to fix. But also, every week we can't say we have to fix it. We have to step up and do it. And, I feel like we can. I feel like we will. And I feel like we just got to be determined. And I think we got guys on this offense that's willing to put in the work.
Hey, one quick follow-up. Too high safeties is something that you guys have struggled with a bit in the past. Is it something that, players just you guys aren't adjusting quick enough on the fly when you see it, or what is it?
Last year we struggled a good bit with too high. This year, not as much. We moved the ball. Like in those 2-minute situations, a lot of times those are too high safeties, and we've been pretty efficient in our 2-minute offense. It's just you got to get the time. Garner has to go through his reads. We have to get in our spots. It's less room for error opposed to one high safety man. If the route costs you to be 16 yards deep, then you have to be 16. And that's something that we can fix. But I don't think we're too bad at it. I think we're getting better at it. And I think we can be really efficient.
Thanks, DJ.
Thanks, Jamal. We'll go to John Shipley and then wrap up with Gene Fournette.
Hey, DJ. After your second touchdown, Coach, of course, elected to go for 2 points. Just as a player, how do you feel about that mindset to kind of be aggressive near the end of the game and put pressure on the other team?
I love it. But me loving it don't change the fact that we got to get it, But whatever the play is called, whatever it's called, we got to execute. It was there. We just got to make it happen. If we would have got it, maybe that would have changed the offensive approach for the Bengals. Maybe they would have been more, cautious, and maybe we could have made those plays and had a chance to make it a tie game. So, but any play called, I don't care, first, second, third down, going for 2, we just got to complete it.
Thanks, DJ.
Thanks, John. We'll wrap up with Gene Fournette.
Hey, DJ, could you just talk a little bit of just the overall disappointment that you guys feel? I mean, you were coming off a pretty bad game against the Miami Dolphins. This was a chance for redemption against a team that had struggled not only on defense but on offense, both sides of the ball. What's kind of the level of disappointment felt in that locker room right now?
Well, first, I want to say that the Bengals are a good team. I know the record may not show that, but Joe Burrow is a hell of a player, and they have a hell of an offense, and they're not just going out there getting beat, 30-0, So it was bound that team was going to get a win. Unfortunately, it was against us. But, the team, we just got to – the mood in the locker room is basically we got to stick together, and the outside – I know we get home and we look on Instagram, we look at Twitter, and, a lot of times we are, the laughing stock because people love making jokes when they're not in the fire with us. But, it's, at this point, it's forget them. You know, when I go out there and play, I'm playing for those 53, 56 guys. I don't care. I'm going to put my body on the line, and that's just what we have to do. And I feel like that's the feeling. And if it's not, that's what the feeling is going to be. You know, we just have to go out there. I don't care if we win every game, moving on, or don't win every game, moving on. We're not going to quit, for sure. And that's the mindset that we got to have, and somebody's going to have to feel us.
Thank you.
Thanks, DJ.
I'd take 20 of those guys.
Yeah, I always feel for these guys in a way, the newer guys that come through here, because they've got to feel the 12 years of disappointment around here. That's what they do see on Twitter in this social media world, and I get
it.
Yeah, guilty. I mean, listen, I called them a JV defense. I mean, that's disrespectful, probably those guys, but they're wearing it. They're wearing the last 12 years, especially when you lose 3 in a row. Here's Gardner Minshew, threw for 350 yards, but I just not sure if he looked completely great today. Here he is.
For error offensively, with your defense playing the way it is, giving up so many points and yards, that you guys have got to be perfect or it's just not going to work?
It's one of those things that, we set out every drive to go score 7 points. We fall short sometimes, we get it sometimes. No matter what, I think we each got to take it one play at a time, one drive at a time mentality. And that's our best recipe for success.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. We'll go to Culpepper, and after that, we'll go to Mia O'Brien.
Gardner, I just want to ask you about how much different it was to have DJ Chark back out there, and if your expectations for this offense are that it's going to be, that you can score 30 a game, because that's what it looks like you're going to need to win games now.
Man, it's huge having DJ out there, man. He's, one of the top receivers in the league. I truly believe that. Went to the Pro Bowl last year. He's better than he was last year. And he's also grown into, a leader and a guy that we can really count on. I believe the ceiling is very high for this offense. We ran the ball well today, threw it well at times. We just got to stay away from the drive killers, away from the turnovers, and I believe we can be really good.
Thank you, Cole. We'll go to Mia O'Brien, and after that, we'll go to Gene Fournette.
Hey, Gardner, you guys elect to take the ball first. No, Doug wanted to get off to that quick start. How would you evaluate your performance in terms of settling in the first half? Maybe did it take a little bit longer than it normally does versus then what happened in the second half as well?
Yeah, we started the first half pretty bad, started the second half pretty bad. So we're going to have to go back, look at it, see what we're doing wrong, and just make sure we're getting in, the right mindset each time we step out there.
And then just on the final drive in terms of when you spike it, what do you do? Obviously, you're looking for a Hail Mary situation in the very end. What was the conversation between you and Jay as you went out there for that drive?
Yeah, we just knew we'd have to, go try to put some points on the board to give ourselves a chance. We were going to try to, hit a big play, try to get in the end zone. But at that point, Coach made the call. It was the right call to kick the field goal, try to get the onside, and then have a chance at the Hail Mary once the clock got down that low.
Thanks, Mark.
We'll go to Gene Fournette and then wrap up with John Shipley. Gene, I believe you're on mute.
And obviously, end of the first half, end of game, you guys really move the ball well in the hurry-up situations. But in the other possessions, it just seemed like you guys just could not get into any kind of a rhythm, at least not the kind of rhythm that you would like to see.
Yeah, we feel really good about our 2-minute offense. We're doing some good things. Guys are catching the ball, making plays. We just got to bring more consistency, I think, is a big thing. We have the capability to go do that every drive. We just have to find the consistency, the focus to be able to do that more often.
As a follow-up, what happened on the short throw to O'Shaughnessy where you kind of threw the ball into the ground? Did the ball do something in your hand, or was it as much pressure as you felt because he was open, but you weren't able to get the ball to him? It was probably about a crossing route of about 8 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, I go to throw the ball. As it leaves my hand, it flies through the air, and James didn't catch it. So that's, how it works sometimes.
Gardner, I'm talking about the throw where the pass fell like about 4 yards short of James.
Oh, I'm with you, Gene. I'm with you. I missed it.
Okay.
It was bad throw.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. We'll wrap up with John Shipley.
Hey, Gardner, can you just talk a little bit about, as a player, what were your thoughts on, Coach Marone going for 2 and really showing the aggressiveness there? I know DJ said earlier that as a player, he loves being aggressive in that situation.
Yeah, no, I love when Coach Marone puts his faith in us. We got to deliver for him. I think he has a lot of belief in us. We have a lot of belief in ourselves as well. We just got to cash in when we get those opportunities.
Thanks, Gardner.
Thank you, Gardner.
Boys are getting a little testy.
Wow, yeah, and listen.
It was a bad throw, Gene.
Gene asked the question, and I think Gardner ended up answering it, that it was a bad throw, but he was right. And I think it was one of those pivotal plays. Yeah. It's the second 3 and out in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And if he makes that throw, and it's a simple play for a quarterback, I would think, and he just totally missed it. But that's a 6-7 yard pickup at 2nd and 3. You use James Robinson there. We're asking where he is. Instead, you're throwing it 2nd and 10, now 3rd and 10, and you're off the field 3 and out. So
what's amazing about the NFL? Put up the numbers again, Super Bowl Live, on the quarterbacks. And like Brent said earlier, here's Gardner Minshew, 27 of 40. So he missed 13 balls. He threw 40 balls today.
Yeah.
He missed 13. All right? Threw for 351 yards. He didn't throw for 215. Or 236. He threw for 351, and yet he wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They scored 25 points, and it wasn't good enough. You know what I mean?
I've been working on this comparison because today was his 16th start in the NFL.
1 full year.
And his numbers will rival like a guy like Russell Wilson.
Numbers will.
But it just sometimes doesn't look right,
Yeah.
Here's Avery Jones talk about the defense and how they can somehow try to fix this. Jaguars defensive tackle, most tenured Jaguar.
Why do I got to talk, Avery said.
Yeah. Well, here he is.
I think they came out and they had an emphasis on trying to run between the tackles and things like that. And we did a good job of balling that up and really restricting the run game. And then in the second half, they really just started hitting one way and cutting back and really testing our responsibilities. And we didn't execute properly. I mean, every man on the defense has a gap, and we got to be able to trust every man on that field to make that play when it comes to them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Demetrius. We'll go to John Reed, and after that, we'll go to Mark Long.
How you doing? What's your level of frustration of not being able to get enough pressure on Joe Burrow today? And what do you attribute to? What was it? Do you attribute that to the offensive line, or what do you attribute to not getting a lot of pressure on him today?
Their offensive line gets paid too, just like us. They did their job, we didn't. I think we have tremendous talent on this D line. First round talent, year in and year out, that's on this team right now, and we're not getting enough. I think we'll have to look at ourselves and really see that there's a lot of problems, but there's some things that start with us up front, and definitely pressure is one of them.
Thank you, John. We'll go to Mark Long, and after that, we'll go to Jamal.
What can you do at this point, Abe, to create some pressure up front? This is not like it's a 1 week thing, to be honest.
We got to do what we always do. We got to practice, and we got to make an emphasis. Me being a vet on this team and being pretty much the old head in the room and stuff like that, I'm going to have to find a way to motivate these guys. There's too much talent out here that's not getting their name called on Sundays for doing what they do best. I really don't have no secret formula for you. That's just the good old football, blue-collar grit. Go back to the drawing board, grind it out, and make the results come on Sunday. Now, I feel like if we do that, come back, we get a good couple weeks back-to-back, this will just look like an old problem. We can roll forward and really become a better defense.
Right about one thing, Brent, as we look at the injuries, and we'll go over them in a second. They do have first-round talent on that defensive line. There's 3 of them.
First-round picks.
Yeah. There's 3 of them.
Yeah, Josh Allen, Caleb on Chason, and Taven Bryan.
Yeah, and so how many sacks do they have this year?
3. Which was 31st going into the game. They got none today, so they'll be dead last in the NFL after this week.
I put the injuries back up. Let's go over them because there are a bunch of them. What are you? C.J. Henderson disappeared. I didn't see him on the sideline, so I'd be somewhat concerned about that.
C.J. Henderson, by the way, had an outstanding season opener. He's done not a lot since.
He's done nothing.
Miles Jack is playing awesome football, and I want to keep watching him play football. So
best defensive player
for everybody trying to watch.
Yeah, best defensive player on the field for the Jaguars is Miles Jack.
He walked off under his own power. I guess that's good.
Eifert went back in.
Yes.
Hayden looked bad.
Hayden is Hayden's had an awful start to the season.
Yeah, but the injury looked bad.
Yeah, that didn't look good.
I don't think he's going to be
and
around.
Cam Robinson off on his own power. Also, and we should mention, Laviska Shenault was hurt in that game. I don't know.
He reached back and grabbed it. It looked like a hammy. I don't know for sure.
And gosh, there's two guys right now, if you take that list. First, I want to see C.J. Henderson grow and develop and all those things. He's a young player. But Miles Jack and Laviska Shenault, I like watching those guys play.
Yes.
And they actually are a couple of reasons why to watch right now.
And listen, there's nobody left in the defensive backfield. If Henderson's out and Wilson's out again and Hayden's out.
Now, Wilson could be due to come back soon, which would be a good thing. But Josh Jones has been banged up, too.
Yeah.
At the strong safety. We'll see what else they do. But they are deep down the depth chart at corner,
right.
No doubt.
Right.
There's not a lot of great talent there to begin with, maybe you could argue. Jags in trouble.
1-3 and 3 straight losses and going to Houston to take on an 0-4 Texans team, but 0-4 Texans team that's led by a quarterback who has been magnificent against the Jags.
What you worry about is this is such a young football team that doesn't snowball in the opposite direction. There's a little, you can see the frustration with Avery Jones, with Gardner Minshew, with Doug Marrone today.
When we put the schedule up tonight on Action Sports Jax Primetime, you'll see why we're concerned at 1-3.
It's going to be hard to find some W's.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it. We'll do Action Sports Jax Primetime later tonight. We'll figure it out and we'll try to figure it out. See what it looks like for the Jags. 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, everybody. Hope you at least win your fantasy football. I mean, maybe you got that going for you.
It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. Thanks for watching the Action Sports Jax Postgame Show. Sponsored by Anidjar Levine, Accident Attorneys.